I wasn't aware of voiceovers at all, to be honest. I started acting, right? So I was acting on a TV show. I said, I'm gonna move to LA, got to LA. And somebody said, why don't you're gonna make a lot of money doing voiceovers. And I thought, oh, what's that? Like a German model, and then I'm gonna talk and do the dubbing. They were like, no, it's a commercial, you'll see. So, you know, knock on wood, lucky me, I auditioned for Valley Health Club at the time, and I booked it. And then it became a big series of campaign, you know, a big campaign that went for years.
Right.
And then I did, I came to New York to study at Circle in the Square.
Oh, great place, yeah.
Great place.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know, I am gonna do this for the rest of my life. I better go get a spine. I'm gonna go to New York, you know. I was gonna go to ACT San Francisco, and I was deciding between that and New York, so I came to New York. Plus I had loved New York. I'd only been here once before, and I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. So I went to Circle in the Square, and then I went out on voiceovers here on commercials.
Because there's a lot of that here.
There's a lot of that here, and suddenly I used to say I bring my empty bucket to New York in the summer, fill it up, and go back to LA, and I'd be in LA for like 8, 9 months. But I'd come.
Was there any, like a person or a mentor or anything that, what was that moment where you were like, well, it was nice taking pictures, but I want to be on stage, or did you do plays in high school or church or anything?
I did not. I moved so much. I went to 11 schools by 9th grade. So I never really got involved in too much school stuff. I had tons of friends, but we moved a lot. What happened was, it was my first audition. So I had an agent, Dot Burns, in Tampa, Florida. And she was getting me all this bathing suit modeling and Belk Lindsay, back to school. You know,
yeah, you
just
worked
the
for
editorial.
a department store too, didn't you do a lot?
Yeah, Burdines it was called. So Dot Burns sent me on my first SAG audition, my first TV show audition, which was the new Leave It to Beaver.
Which you landed.
Yes, and what's funny, it was for a sexy bathing suit girl, and I remember going there thinking, you know, I'm not sexy bathing suit girl. Like, I do bathing suit modeling, but I'm like, I think the way it was written, like they want like the Hooters girls, or, you know, that was kind of big in Florida. So I went to the audition anyway, and I remember like wearing a jumpsuit, and I remember saying like, so I did the audition, and I said, so I gotta take this off now, right? I gotta take my clothes off now, right? And they all kind of laughed, and then we talked about how they were from California, and I was from California. And then they came out after, and they said, listen, we really liked you. You know, we're not, you know, not for this part, but we would like to have you on our show and have you do something. And I was like, wow, wonderful. So I kind of became a little series regular on this show as like the little soda shop girl.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, like Rhonda was named, and once in a while I'd have a line. And then they knew that I was hosting a show, the one in Gainesville, the TV 69. So then there was a part that came up for a VJ, and that was out at the beach interviewing some spring breakers, because the kids get caught at a spring break they're not supposed to be at. And they just puffed my hair out hugely and gave me that part too. So it was great. And it was driving on that set. It was the new Universal lot in Orlando, Florida. They had the Psycho house, I remember, and I remember driving through dirt. Like clouds of smoke would be behind your car, because now it's a total built up place, but it was brand new and it was huge. And there was these like 3 sound stages, and Steve Martin was doing Parenthood in one, Leave It to Beaver was in the other, and I think Superboy was in another one. And I just remember parking my car there, and I remember thinking, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. And the reason it was all the people on the set. It was all the people behind the cameras that were just so sweet. They were so nice. I remember one guy being like, hey, look, you know, listen to your voice. And I was like, what about it, you know? And he's like, your voice, you know, cuts through, you know, just very sweet. They reminded me of old school New York, and I think a lot of them kind of were old school New York.
Yeah, all those